This pandemic keeps revealing the hidden weaknesses in our economy. The one that really shocked me, the rickety state of our healthcare supply chain. We don't have enough ventilators. We don't have enough personal protective equipment, masks, gowns, gloves that literally shield doctors and nurses from the virus. And we're still not doing enough to scale up production. That's why we really need to dig down into what's going on with America's medical supply chain. Tonight, we've got Owens Minor. It's a tiny publicly traded company that's nevertheless an essential cog in the healthcare medicine business. Owens Minor distributes medical and surgical supplies, as well as manufacturing N95 masks, surgical gloves, and protective gowns. Stock's too small for me to recommend. But right now, we just need to know how they can help fix the medical supply shortage. So let's dig deeper with Ed Pesicka. He is the president and CEO of Owens Minor. For a better read on the bottlenecks in the system, Mr. Pesicka, welcome to Mad Money.
Thank you, Jim.
Sir, if you could explain to me, and I'm sure you feel like I do, we see the pictures, we read the articles, and we can't believe it's America. We can't believe that our healthcare system, with all these incredibly fine people, are walking around wearing like scarves and don't have the right equipment. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, so let me put it in perspective. Let me first start with an anecdote. So a customer in New York City traditionally uses roughly between 10,000 and 20,000 masks per week. We are now seeing the influx of demand up to 200 to 300,000 masks per week. And that's just one hospital in New York. You take that and you multiply that through the entire U.S. and the system. That's the amount of demand increase we have seen in PPE products right now.
So if you were to start a greenfield plant that made PPE products like this or gowns, I know you've got them all over the globe. It would take a very long time, I imagine?
Yeah, so we're already in the production. Let me maybe share with you what we've already done.
Sure.
We started in January ramping up our production of PPE, and we manufacture our PPE in the Americas, a little bit different than others in this space. So what we've done with those facilities, we are now running them 24/7. We started in January. By the end of February, we were able to run 4 shifts a day, and we were able to increase our production of masks from by roughly 40 to 50 million incremental masks per month. That's a combination of N95 and other masks. We are in the process of actually expanding capacity, but that's going to take probably 5 to 6 months to make sure that you have the capability to expand that capacity. So that's the time frame that we're looking at for additional expansion beyond what we've done already by running 24/7.
Okay, so I have to presume that the Chinese, which were able to do a miraculous job at traditionally really not doing a good job, have tons of masks and supplies. But at the same time, we're not necessarily on a friendly keel with them. Do you think it's possible that they've got a giant hoard that could help us?
You know, so I don't know whether they have a giant hoard or not. What I do know is that a lot of the manufacturing operations in China shut down for the Chinese Lunar New Year, and then that shutdown extended beyond that. So we're starting to see production ramp up with some of our suppliers in China. So it's going to be a matter of time of getting that product produced, and then you have the delay of getting the product to the U.S. You know, if it goes by traditional boat, you're looking at another 30 to 40 days, which is why we're working actively to look at air freight and other methods to get it here faster.
I am seeing FedEx planes literally rented by citizens of our great country and landing here with Chinese supplies. Incredible. Just actual individuals, because they can't take the pictures anymore. Now, I see you've got a plant in Thailand for exam gloves, surgical gowns in Honduras, right? And then face masks in Acuna, Mexico. So those are all working 24/7 too, right?
Absolutely. Those are the ones. Those are our factories. And then all the fabric for that factory is manufactured in Lexington, North Carolina. So we have that running 24/7 as well as all of our other factories. We've gone to 4 shifts, and we're actually looking at 5th shift, so that way we don't wear our employees out and our teammates out during this time.
Are you selling these via the McKesson route and the AmerisourceBergen?
Sure.
Or are you going right to the government?
So our sale goes through our own distribution channel, that being Owens Minor. We also will distribute those products through others in the industry, but that's how they go through and get actually to the hospitals and or the clinicians, those people on the front lines.
Yeah, because what I was thinking was if you, we have General McChrystal on tonight, but it just seems to me that that the supply line, the Chinese involvement, the supply lines, that it's almost a little uncoordinated. But maybe it's just what could you do that no one could coordinate it because of who would have foreseen such a tragedy developing?
Yeah, and I think, Jim, you got to go back to that anecdote I used earlier where, again, you go from 10 to 20,000 a week to 200 to 300,000 a week. So you're looking at, 10, 15x, and then you multiply that by all the health systems. spend significant time on with CEOs of the healthcare systems, that influx of demand. And you got to remember, that demand isn't just here in the U.S., that demand's in other parts of the world too.
Right.
So that global demand has increased exponentially.
Well, let me say a little about your background. I can't. The stock's too small for me to recommend, but when I saw it, I said, "Oh my God, I got to get behind this." Then I saw the market size, but I knew Halyard very well from when Kimberly-Clark spun it off. But you're not from Owens Minor. You're originally from Thermo Fisher. So when you came in, what did you see, and why did you take the job? Given the fact that we're friends with Mark Casper, the CEO, and we've been thinking of the world of Thermo Fisher ever since the show started. What attracted you to Owens Minor?
So look, we had a company that has been around 137 years that lost their focus. And, the challenge to jump in there was exciting. And we really made it simple. We changed the focus. So the number one thing we are focused on is the customer. And to do that, we had to change our service. And we've drastically improved our service over the last 9 to 10 months, where we're back to our industry-leading standards from a service and a delivery model. So that was really what we were focusing on over the last year. And as I said this in the past to others, we are so much further ahead than I thought we would have been after being in the job for about a year right now.
Well, okay, so let's say, do you talk to Vice President Pence?
I have not talked to him personally, but we have worked closely with FEMA, we've worked with the White House team, and we've worked with HHS. We've worked closely with that group.
Well, then, can you tell me whether the scenes that we're seeing and I mean, I'm friends. I have a doctor whose son is literally no protective gear and is trying to save lives. I mean, I sent him my mask because I think we have to do that. We all have to. If we have masks, we got to give them to the frontline people. Will that end? Will it be like instead of the kindness of strangers? Do you think in the next month they'll have enough masks?
Well, I don't know what point in time or date we'll have enough masks. All I know is with the industry, working across the industry, with many of our peers in the industry, we are actively going to produce as many masks, and much protective equipment as we possibly can.
Well, look, I sure hope so. I think that a lot of us feel like that we're looking like we remember when it was Wuhan, and we felt how terrible it was, and now we're about 45 minutes from a hospital that I know well that looks like Wuhan, and I'm kind of flabbergasted. But I guess everybody was overrun.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, Jim, is just that increased demand was, at just exponential rates compared to what it historically had been at.
Well, look, I wish you the best of luck. I hope all your workers stay safe and you do 24/7 and maybe the pictures go away. We start thinking who we really are. All right?
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jim. And around our teammates, we absolutely are making sure they're safe. So we're making sure that they have masks as well as gloves. Those who are working manufacturing the products as well as distributing them to make sure we can get them out to our customer base.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. That's Ed Pesicka. He's the president and CEO of Owens Minor. Again, small cap stock. Do your homework. Mad Money's back after the break.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @JimCramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Kramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.